Cowboys trading Micah Parsons to the Packers.
Are you serious?
No.
That's what they just said, unless I'm being trolled. Could
The
be
Cowboys are trading All-Pro Micah Parsons to the Packers. This guy's so upset.
Oh, no.
Good riddance and good luck, Green Bay, because you just overpaid for the overhyped Micah Parsons, who will never be able to live up to that money, especially in Green Bay, where I don't think he'll ever be happy living.
You do realize Micah Parsons and Reggie White are in the same breath as far as having double-digit sacks 4 consecutive years to start a career.
Defender, but Dallas is not a Super Bowl team. I've told you I think they're 4th place in their division. I think they'll have a top 8 pick. Now maybe worse. The defense is bad with Micah Parsons. Without him, guaranteed to be atrocious. Dallas is acknowledging we're not a Super Bowl team. It's rebuild time.
This is a gamble. The gambler should not have taken.
We appreciate his 4 years. But we can take that consideration and we can win in our minds more than had we gone the other route and signed him. That's not a negative on Micah. That's just unique to our circumstance.
Welcome to Fearless with Jason Whitlock. I am Jason Whitlock, your host. Happy Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We have an awesome show today centered around Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons has been traded to the Green Bay Packers for 2 first-round draft picks, and Kenny Clack, a 29, 30-year-old defensive tackle that will help the Cowboys in the run department, but a major blockbuster trade in the National Football League. The breakup between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. We're going to have a little fun today. Coach JB, Jason Brown, will be here with us. We're hoping that TJ Houshmandzadeh will be here with us as well. If not, I will be here, and we will carry this thing because there's a lot of interesting things to discuss as it relates to Micah Parsons. And happy Deion Sanders Day. Happy Coach Prime Day. The Colorado Buffaloes are in action tonight against Georgia Tech. Everybody else kind of started their college football season either last week or last night. You guys know how I do it around here. College football season doesn't start until Coach Prime is patrolling the sidelines and playing a game. They play Georgia Tech tonight. It will be fascinating. We'll talk about that with Coach JB. We'll also talk about Dylan Raiola, the quarterback of Nebraska. He got to play in front of Patrick Mahomes last night at Arrowhead Stadium. They pull out a squeaker against Cincinnati. Raiola statistically had a pretty good game. We'll get JB's take on that. Anyway, jam-packed sports-related show today. We'll do this show in 80 to 90 minutes. We won't keep you forever. We'll let you get to your Labor Day weekend. But a fantastic episode of Fearless just around the corner. Before I go anywhere, I want to thank our friends at Relief Factor for making today's show a possibility and for sponsoring today's show. Relief Factor is a 100% drug-free supplement that fights inflammation and that helps you get over the aches and pains that are compromising your life. As Luke can tell you, I just hobbled over here after spending 45 minutes on my Stairmaster, kicking my butt. My rear end's on fire, but one of the main reasons I was able to do it and sustain the workout and the exercise is because Relief Factor is allowing me to work out consistently and fight through the pains of inflammation and sore muscles. It's been great for me. They have a 3-week quick start that's only $19.95. And this is a way you can test to see if Relief Factor is for you. 70% of the people that do the 3-week quick start, that's just $19.95, just $20 to find out if Relief Factor helps relieve your inflammation and pain. 70% of the people that tried that 3-week quick start circle back and re-up because they're already experiencing and enjoying the benefits. $19.95, and you can get a solution potentially to the things compromising your life. 2 ways to get Relief Factor. You can visit relieffactor.com, or you can just call 1-800, the number 4, RELIEF. Relief Factor. Make the call today. Just $19.95. All right, let's get into a bit more. Let's hear for some. I think we have a SOT collection of Jerry Jones reacting. Let's play that. Let's warm up there and see how Jerry Jones reacted to trading one of the most talented players that they've ever drafted during the Jerry Jones era. Let's play Jerry Jones, SOT number 2.
Things are good here. Things are good here. We have just decided that it was in the best interest of our team to take the consideration that we have. We appreciate his 4 years, but we can take that consideration and we can win in our minds more than had we gone the other route and signed him. That's not a negative on Micah. That's just unique to our circumstance. But the facts are, specifically, we need to stop the run. And we haven't been able to stop the run at key times for several years. Not only do we immediately get a player, but those draft picks could get us, I'm talking top Pro Bowl type players, could, not necessarily, you're going to be quick to say, you won't necessarily get those players, you got to draft them or acquire them. But they could get us as few as 3 or as many as 5 outstanding players. Did I talk to Michael?
Micah.
All right, so that's Jerry Jones putting a happy face on a trade that most people are saying, look, hey, this is the wrong time to be trading Micah Parsons. You should have done this earlier in the offseason. If this is the route you were going to go, you don't do it 1 week before the season opener. This is, as I believe Colin Cowherd was saying, this is a signal that the Cowboys aren't a Super Bowl team right now. I'm not so sure if they're saying that. I disagree with Cowherd there. I think they're saying Micah Parsons is not going to back away from his agent, David Mulugheta. He wants Jerry to negotiate a deal with Mulugheta. Jerry dug his heels in and says he doesn't need to do that. And Jerry perhaps smartly says, hey, look, if we have to pay a pass rusher $47 million a year, if we have to pay a pass rusher what high-level quarterbacks are going for, and we've already overpaid for Dak Prescott, this might be Jerry saying, hey, this is unique to our situation. We've already overpaid for Dak. At some point, we'll have to overpay for CeeDee Lamb. We've had Micah for 4 years, and he's been tremendous, but we haven't had postseason success. So it might be Jerry saying, like, hey, man, these pass rushers are special, but unless it's Reggie White, do they really lead to Super Bowls? I mean, let's think this through. Because someone asked me last night, does this compare to the Reggie White move, Reggie moving from Philadelphia to the Green Bay Packers? And the Packers got a Super Bowl out of that. Reggie White is one of one. Micah Parsons is not Reggie White. And I don't care what you do with the sack numbers. We heard someone say that, 4 straight seasons of double-digit sacks. No. Reggie White, no. You just don't understand. So I get some of you young people that weren't around to see it. But Reggie White was basically the Deion Sanders of defensive ends. You're talking about someone who shut down one half of the field. You're talking about someone you didn't dare run at Reggie White. Your offensive tackle had no chance. Yes, Reggie White was a tremendous bull rusher, pass rusher, everything. But Reggie White, and what Jerry's kind of intimating is, Reggie White was also a problem in the running game, and Micah Parsons is less of a problem in the running game. I don't think people understand the minister of defense. And he's why, and I'm someone, no disrespect to Lawrence Taylor, none. Anybody that argues Lawrence Taylor is the greatest defensive player is a rational person. But having played offensive line in college football at the Division I level, I would rather deal with Lawrence Taylor than Reggie White. And no disrespect to Lawrence Taylor, but Reggie White in both aspects of the game, and not that Lawrence Taylor wasn't a problem in both aspects of the game, but Reggie White is one of one, and Micah Parsons is not that. And so they have burned this thing down. Let's go ahead and put the OTS up. I love this OTS. I started thinking today about breakup songs and the breakup of Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, and I thought of Usher's Burn. And so those of you that are familiar with the Usher Burn song and the album or whatever, that's Micah Parsons' face over Usher Raymond. And they've just burned this thing to the ground. It's over between Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons. And this may be, and I know this isn't the most provocative take, but this may be a good thing for both of them. This may be exactly what Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons need to do. Jerry Jones finally drew a line in the sand with one of his beloved players. And look, obviously it was him getting crossways with the agent, but Jerry Jones, for the first time ever, finally didn't give a player what he wanted. Finally, he didn't overpay for a player. He's done all of that, and it hasn't produced Super Bowls in the last 30 years. And now Micah Parsons gets to go to Green Bay. They've got a young quarterback in Jordan Love. They have a better head coach, in my opinion, Matt LaFleur, than the Cowboys with Brian Schottenheimer. He gets away from the dysfunction or whatever, the curse, whatever's going on with the Dallas Cowboys. He's playing for a historic franchise, but there is one downside, in my view, to what's going on with Micah Parsons. And this is something I think he will live to regret and will acknowledge that at some point he may have made a mistake walking away from Jerry Jones. The Green Bay Packers don't have an owner. And I know Micah Parsons is getting paid a lot of money, and he doesn't need an owner to live out his best life. But Jerry Jones's relationship with his players, Jerry Jones's support of his players, it always extends well beyond their playing careers. And Micah Parsons has thrown that away. I think he may live to regret that. I want to play you a clip, and this is different, but this is how guys talk post-career when they've matured, when they're no longer invincible, when they're no longer in their prime, and now they have to deal with the ramifications of their decisions. And these two people, or this person I'm about to compare Micah Parsons to, is completely different than Micah Parsons. But I just want you to listen to Michael Beasley, who is one of the most talented basketball players in the history of mankind. But he would not listen to anybody. He would not listen to elders. He would not listen to respected figures. He would not listen to people in ownership and in management that were reaching out a helping hand and saying, hey, man, look, trust me, this sounds like I'm trying to put restraints on you, but I'm actually trying to help you over the course of your career. And so now that Michael Beasley's on the other side of his basketball career, which did not live up to the full talent that he has, he now understands, like, man, Pat Riley and these guys were actually trying to help me, and I regret it. I believe Jerry Jones was offering, and Stephen Jones, because Jerry's old. Jerry could pass away in the next 5-10 years. Who knows? No one's promised forever. But the partnership and the relationship he could have had with the Jones family, I think he's going to regret, and he'll be saying similar things as Michael Beasley says here. Let's play the clip.
If I did it all over again, I would have listened to Pat Riley. Pat Riley told me to get a condo, get 2 bedrooms, one for my mom when she come in town, and everybody else figure it out. I went the polar opposite, and my excuse to him was like, yo, I grew up in an apartment, like I need some space, so I got a 6-bedroom house, got 3 dogs, had 3-4 of my in you know, and then that's where all the problems came from. Like, and it made sense to me because it's like, these is real life problems. Like, I was bailing people out of jail. I was getting lawyers. Like, my uncle was fighting a RICO. My godfather was, you know, they all got 9, 10 years, 30, you know what I'm saying? So to me, like, I was really like dealing with problems, but looking back on it, it's like, my daughter's 16 right now. She's getting all kind of NIL. She's NIL. She's about to be. If she's not going to be one of the players that get drafted, she's going to be a person that makes a lot of money in her life, her career. I will never look at her and say, "You're 19. You need to take care of me or pay for my lawyer or anything like that." You understand? So, I think I just wish I had the confidence to tell everybody no. Just, let me get to my second contract first. Let me, you understand? And my fuck-ups would have been my fuck-ups.
Yeah.
Most of the fuck-ups people know me for was me taking the rap for other people around me and me just being a famous person.
And so I don't want anyone to hear that like I'm comparing Michael Beasley to Micah Parsons. Michael Beasley really underachieved as a basketball player and more of a screw up and F up than Micah Parsons. But I'm just telling you, there are things that you can't see right now when you're young. The value of that relationship with Jerry Jones and the Jones family, and the fact that the Green Bay Packers are the only franchise in the NFL that doesn't have an owner. So you're not going to have that lifelong relationship as an all-time great player with an owner. And there is an advantage to that. There is to be able to tap in and look, maybe he and Jerry's relationship will be fine, or Stephen Jones, but I just tend to doubt it. He left Dallas. There'll be other guys from Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb to any of these guys that stick with the Cowboys over the course of 7, 8, 10, 15 years. That's where the loyalty is going to lie. Here's the other thing that on the positive side that people aren't thinking about, because I think Skip Bayless made the point, and this is something I want to talk with TJ Houshmandzadeh about, but Skip Bayless kind of made the point that Micah's going to regret leaving Dallas. And I'm not so sure of that. My initial thoughts were just like Skip Bayless. It's like, man, this guy's going from Dallas to Green Bay. And then I had to think about how much things have changed over the last 10 to 15 years for all of these young guys. The number one thing that's changed is the amount of money they make. And the amount of money they make makes it so that whatever you can do in Dallas, you can recreate in Green Bay. You don't have, so there used to be this deal like, man, I want to be in a major city. There's more women. There's a better social life. Well, social life and women and dating, that's all moved online. These guys are all shopping for their next girlfriends on Instagram. Doesn't matter where you're at. People are getting flued out. It just doesn't matter where you're at. These guys, these young guys now, they love to play video games. You don't got to leave your house to play video games. In fact, you're in your house playing video games. COVID has changed the way people entertain themselves. People don't go out as much as they used to. There's no need to. They've kind of refocused it between the Netflix and Amazon Prime and, again, Netflix and chill. And just when you're making the kind of money that Micah Parsons is, hopping on a private plane and going to whatever city you want to go to for the night, for 2 nights. It's just not as important to be in a major city and in a major hub and in a city where you can fly anywhere. The man's making $47 million a year. He can make Green Bay. He can do damn near everything he wants to do in Green Bay except change the weather. And so if he doesn't like cold weather, you know, he may be a little bit miserable. And then the other thing we have to remember about Micah Parsons is I think he's from Harrisburg and he played at State College. If you know anything about Penn State, it's one of the most remote locations in all of college football. It's like the Green Bay of college football. I just think for Micah Parsons and the fact that he loves to do podcasts, seems like a bit of a gamer to me, I'm not sure if he needs to be in Dallas to have the life that he wants to enjoy. And so this relationship needed to burn. It did burn down. And I'm going to end, and then we'll go to TJ Moe. I want to share with you all my top 5 breakup songs. And Burn by Usher Raymond is number 1. My second, I love Cry Me a River by Justin Timberlake. It's a fun song. It's a great song. I'm a huge, Justin Timberlake and Usher, to me, these modern guys, R&B guys, they're 1 and 2, and I don't care what order you put them in. Mary J. Blige, love Mary J. Blige, love her music. I'm Going Down. End of the Road by Boyz II Men, classic song. And then a song that it really dates me and it really haunts me, to be honest with you. I had a woman sing Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone. That's how she let me know I was making a huge mistake. And she sung that to me on a phone call where I was screwing up. And it was sung to me as a warning. And it's haunted me for the last 15, 20 years. I hate to admit that because she may be watching, a friend of hers may be watching. She may know exactly what I'm talking about, and she's probably laughing at me right now. But Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers. If you've never heard it, go see it. Anyway, or go listen to it. Without further ado, we'll take a break and come back and talk to TJ Houshmandzadeh. Next. Leave Peanut Butter Tupac alone. It's a woman, a black woman, who's been programmed for chaos. And if it does not apply to you, if you're a black woman watching this show, and if it does not apply to you, don't be offended. But don't lie and say that black women haven't been programmed for chaos. They're well-intentioned, but their instincts are chaotic. Smoke the S-H-I-T out of well-intentioned, but emotional, and love drama and conflict. Every fight video they see, they love it. Joy Taylor has converted, or not has converted. What Joy Taylor's frustration is that she is an OnlyFans model, or OnlyCans model. She doesn't have anything else to offer. She would sit on TV with her breast out because that's what she had to offer. And now that she's been found out, Nusheen and the people that filed the lawsuit on her exposed her and her unsavory, immoral ways, the whole deal about she was going to accuse Charlie Dixon of rape if she didn't get what she wanted.
These words are our religion, our regrets and our decisions. We all want to go to heaven with freedom. It's my obligation, no hate, discrimination, raising up your hands for freedom.
All right, welcome back. We're joined now by former Cincinnati Bengals great TJ Houshmandzadeh, my friend and former colleague at Fox Sports. TJ, you blame Jerry Jones. Is Jerry Jones the bad guy? Did he make a horrendous mistake trading Micah Parsons and getting in this dispute with David Mulugeta?
It's hard to say he made it. I'm not trading Micah Parsons. I'm not trading him. 26 years old, one of the top 3 pass rushers in the NFL. He's on his way to the Hall of Fame, at least the trajectory, the way he came in. He didn't come into the league and find his way. He came into the league from day one and dominated it. And I'm not trading that guy. I thought it was a badge of honor to draft a guy in the first round, develop him into an all-pro, and then pay him. Everybody needs to look at what the Eagles have done and what the Detroit Lions are doing. They're paying guys early. Hutchinson, if he doesn't get hurt, he has an extension. They extended Penei Sewell. They extended Amon-Ra St. Brown. I guarantee they're going to extend Jahmyr Gibbs. That's how you do it. Like, when you start waiting to pay a guy, it's always going to be more. And when you're a player, you want to get paid. You don't give a damn where it's at. I go play on the moon. I just want to get paid. Now, you may reflect on that later down the road, but that initial, oh, I'm out of Dallas. Thank God I got paid in Green Bay. He may come back to regret that, but I personally believe, yes, Jerry Jones made a mistake because who says those first round two? They drafted Mozzie Smith 2 years ago. He's supposed to be the run stopper that they need, right? How'd that first round pick turn out? So you don't know what these first round picks will be.
So show me the pass rusher in this era that has led to Super Bowls. TJ Watt, Joey Bosa. I would even go back to JJ Watt. I would, Nick Bosa has played in some Super Bowls, but hasn't led to Super Bowls. Von Miller kind of stole a Super Bowl. Khalil Mack went to Green Bay, went to Chicago, I'm sorry. That didn't, have we overvalued perhaps these great, Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati, great pass rusher, but the defense sucks. Maybe Jerry and these guys have figured out, like, if you're Reggie White and you're a great pass rusher and you blow up the running game and basically eliminate a half the field, or if you're Ray Lewis and you're and Ray Lewis isn't a pass rusher, but just a defensive player that really controlled a defense and provided a level of leadership and was the heartbeat of your team, maybe then you go all in on those guys. But maybe, the defensive end pass rusher, it's a little specialty item. It's a side dish. It's not the main dish.
You have a point, but I'll say Aaron Donald wasn't a run. It's just from the interior. He just wasn't rushing on the edge. And to me, when you say, let's stop the run, to me, that's a schematic thing. Defensively, what is my coordinator? What is he doing to have us stop the run? The Cowboys were getting gashed with the run. That's schematics. That's not, if you change the way you're playing in your front and you make sure guys stay in their gaps and don't play selfish football, you're going to stop the run. 26 years old, like the closest thing we've seen to this is Khalil Mack that you brought up. And he had a really good first year in Chicago, and then it was kind of like whatever. But Micah Parsons, since he's come into the league, 12 sacks, and he missed a bunch of games last year. Minimum of 12 sacks. You just don't. Micah Parsons is 6'3", maybe 6'4", 250 pounds, and right now can probably run a 4.4. Nobody is blocking that guy. You're going to always put two guys on him. And if you're the Green Bay Packers, you're saying, if we can get a guy that can get us 12 to 15, 16, 17 sacks, we really have a chance now. Because the Green Bay Packers are going far every single year. They just can't get over the hump. Maybe Micah Parsons is that guy that gets them over the hump.
I love your reference of Aaron Donald. It takes me to a different point, though, because I would put this guy isn't Aaron Donald, but he's the second best defensive tackle of the last 10 years. In my view.
I know where you're going.
Chris
yes.
Jones. And so, but it's guys in the middle of that defense that disrupt everything and allow everybody else to eat is a little different than the edge guy. And so from Aaron Donald to Warren Sapp to Mean Joe Green to Chris Jones, if I can get that super disruptive guy in the middle of my defense, it's more valuable than the guy. I love Javon Curse. Loved him. But, and he had a great 3-4 year run at the beginning of his career. But, they didn't win a Super Bowl. And he was probably on that Super Bowl team. My memory is a little bit fuzzy. He was probably on that Super Bowl team that he was not the one that played St. Louis?
No.
Anyway, so a guy in the middle of the defense is different than a guy on the edge of the defense.
I agree 100%. You're closer to the quarterback. And so when you're close to the quarterback and you have the strength and quickness of an Aaron Donald, of Chris Jones, and I agree with you. Chris Jones is one of the biggest reasons that nobody talks about with the Chiefs. You know, it's Mahomes, Kelsey. It's Chris Jones. And I 100% agree with you. I just feel like we haven't seen a Micah Parsons with the explosiveness, and he's still young, and he really wanted to be with the Dallas Cowboys. And I think Jerry, because everybody talks about, and we know this, he's a great businessman. He let his feelings get in the way of this. His feelings got in the way of this, you know. I'm negotiating with Micah Parsons, and his agent told me to stick it up my ass. That's not true. I talked to David. That's not true. Dave was like, TJ, I don't even talk like that. I don't think I've ever made that statement. He told me this over the phone. And so I believe it got real personal. And so Jerry Jones was like, you know what? Maybe I will trade him. Now, there is a part of me that when Micah's done, he's going to regret this. I truly believe that. Now, yeah, you have all the money, but you look at Mike Irvin, you look at Emmitt Smith, and you look at all the former Cowboys, man, and how they're still around Dallas. Jerry treats them like they still are part of the team. The Packers don't have an owner. He, when he retires, is going to look back and say, yes, I did get my money, but I wish it would have worked. I'm almost certain of that. When he gets to my age, he may regret that. And we don't think about these things when we're in the fire now. He's not thinking about that now. But when he gets to my age, trust and believe, he's going to see the Michael Irvins, the Emmitt Smiths, and probably now the CeeDee Lambs and the Dak Prescott's coming back to Dallas, and he can't do that. But he did get what he wanted, and that's his money.
TJ, what do you think of my contention that you've already said it, like guys just want to get paid and they'll go anywhere. And I just believe city and location at these prices mean a lot less. And I think things have just changed in terms of, dating has just changed. Dating is a DM now for these young guys on Instagram. It's not, hey, I went to the club and met this girl or that girl. You've met her on Instagram and she's meeting you at the club. It's not, you didn't meet her at the club. And so I just think things have changed and city and location do matter less. And so I don't think leaving Dallas is going to be that hard for a guy that's making $47 million a year and he can fly out, flew out, do whatever he wants as it relates to his personal life.
Oh, yeah. Going out, and from my knowledge, Micah Parsons he's not a guy that you're going to see in the club often. And it's really hard in this day and age when you are Micah Parsons. You can't really go to the club. You just can't do it unless you have security. And then when you go out, you want to have your fun. So you don't want to have security. So he strikes me as a guy that it doesn't matter where he goes. He's from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And so that's not Green Bay, but I believe if the Packers have a good year, he's going to love it. I'm glad I came here because I can just focus on football. I played in Green Bay twice. And, every time you go to an opposing city, we always want to go out and eat. And so, you go out in Green Bay. Jason, we went out in Green Bay. I was like, the first time, I couldn't believe it. It literally was nobody on the street. It was desolate. I was like, whoa, I had never seen anything like it. Like nobody. It was like 4 or 5 people in a restaurant, and I forget the steakhouse that we went to, but you really can focus on football in Green Bay. That will be an adjustment for him because at least in Dallas, it's a big city. You can go watch the Mavericks play. The Mavericks, speaking of the Mavericks, you give Luka away, now you give Mike away. But again, he got $47 million a year. I think he would have been cool with 41. And so to get $47 million, that's going to wash away a lot of any problems you may have. But again, 10 years when he's done playing, 5 years when he's done playing, he's going to wish he had made this work. And we won't know this for years to come, but I'm almost certain of that.
He has to, in my view, for it to work out and be an even swap, he has to win at least one Super Bowl, probably two in Green Bay, in order for him to have, because he's in the podcasting space, he cares about a broadcasting career. If he just plays for the Cowboys, you ain't got to win the playoff games. Tony Romo never accomplished anything, but he's the voice of football on CBS. All these former Cowboys, everybody can get a job in broadcasting because that star is that powerful.
Man, Jason, you don't think about that when you playing, man. You really don't. Like, you see guys, if you win a Super Bowl and you want to get into broadcasting, just because you won a Super Bowl and you in broadcasting. If you play for the Cowboys, you play for the Giants, you play for the Chiefs now, or in an LA team. If you want to get into broadcasting, you're getting in. But those teams, you got to win. If you just play for the Cowboys and that's something you want to do, you're going to walk straight in. And it's the allure of you've been on the highest stage of football, regardless if you've won Super Bowls, because you were a Dallas Cowboy. But again, Jason, I'm telling you, man, when you're in it and you're going through it, you don't think about these things. You really don't, man. Like, I can just go from my personal experience. Like, when I left Cincinnati, I didn't care. I just had to get paid. I had to get lifetime security. I had to make sure that me and my family were set. And that's all I thought about. And so when you leave, yes, I'm glad I left. But when you reflect on it, when you're done playing, you're like, the best part of leaving is the relationships that you get with other guys throughout the NFL. I will say that. Going to Seattle, playing with Lofa Tatupu and Hasselbeck and Deion Grant and Nate Burleson and all those dudes, Michael Bennett, Brandon Mebane, and then I go play in Baltimore with Ray, Ed, Terrell Suggs, Anquan Bolden, Joe Flacco. Those relationships, when I see them at the Super Bowl, that's what you like. And to me, that is the best part about it, because you play against these guys. And then to get to know them on a personal level, that to me is the best part of switching teams. But it ain't nothing like just staying with that one team, especially when you got Jerry Jones and you see Michael Irvin all the time. You see Emmitt Smith all the time. He gonna regret that.
TJ, the one, Javon Kearse was on that 99 Titans Super Bowl team.
So that was his rookie year?
I'm not sure. He was on the team. I don't know what year he was on the team. But I want to move on to the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love. People are, obviously they make this trade because they want to win now. And there are people, I think Mike Tannenbaum or someone this week was saying that Jordan Love's like the best quarterback in the NFC. I'm not sure. I'm not there. I don't buy that Jordan Love is the best quarterback in the NFC. Where are the Packers a Super Bowl contender, favorite to win the Super Bowl this year? And is Jordan Love, in your mind, that guy?
Jordan Love is extremely talented, but when I know guys, I'll say I'm biased. I know Jordan Love. I've trained with Jordan Love plenty of times, countless of times. Very talented. Physically can throw the football, big dude. The guys relate to him because who he is as a person. But you got to put the Packers right up there. The Packers, the Eagles, the Commanders. You would say the Lions, but when you have the turnover they had with the coordinators on both sides of the ball, it's hard to say. I would say the Rams, but I don't know what's going on with Matthew Stafford. I've had back problems. That back is tricky. You never know. But I'll put the Packers right up there with them. I just look at their offense. You got Josh Jacobs. The Packers have a receiving core. Like, even if they didn't draft Matt Golden, would have been one of the best. Like, Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks are, if you had a receiver combine and all the receivers from the NFL just did this combine and you watch guys run around, those two dudes would be two of the top 20 guys. Just from a physical perspective, the way they move, they size, the way they run. And so they have weapons on offense. And Jordan Love, if he stays healthy, Jordan Love is really, really good. And when you go through the NFC, and look at the quarterbacks, Mike Tannenbaum might not be wrong.
I want to move to my Kansas City Chiefs. Rashee Rice, their number one receiver, out for 6 weeks. First four of their first 6 games are Chargers, Eagles, Ravens, Lions. That's a pretty difficult schedule. Can they survive the first 6 weeks of the season without Rashee Rice?
Yeah, like Jason, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes and Chris Jones, like I don't just say Patty. It's that other guy, because we recall when Chris Jones was holding out and they didn't pay him, and they played the Detroit Lions that first game of the season. I know you recall that, and Detroit beat them. I think Brett Veach and Andy Reid said, "Oh, we got to get Stone Cold 95 back in the fold in his locker room. He means that much." And so as long as those two guys are on the team and healthy, the Chiefs going to be a problem for everybody. Like, you notice they've won that AFC West 10 years in a row. Eventually it may come to an end. I don't know when that's going to happen, but is it a tough month to start the season? It is. They can do it because of the experience, the confidence. Andy Reid, Andy Reid is still the coach. Like, Andy Reid is arguably top 3 coach to ever coach in the National Football League. And so it's going to be hard. I don't think it will be easy. I also do believe this will be the first year they don't win the AFC West in 10 seasons. I do believe that the way Denver has improved, the way the Chargers have improved, but the Chiefs are going to be right there at the end because they have Patrick Mahomes. Now, who is going to be their number one option in the passing game? It's going to have to be Kelsey. Can he do it? He seems to have rededicated himself. Didn't like the way the last couple of years had gone for him. But losing and not having Rashee Rice, that's going to hurt him. Rashee Rice is a baller. He's really good. He started to come into his own, and then, he gets hurt. They'll miss that. But Pat Mahomes, they'll make it work.
You've said you've kind of split the middle, because there are some people that think this is the year the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs.
Nah.
You're saying, though, you think they're not going to win the AFC West, but there's still going to be a problem. You're not buying they could miss the playoff narrative. You're not buying that.
If the Chiefs miss the playoffs, to me, that means Patrick Mahomes, to me, is still the best quarterback in the league. But statistically, he's kind of gone downhill the last few years. But he doesn't have the receivers that these other dudes have. And you give him a ton of credit because he's still winning without the weapons on the outside. But that's a tribute to Andy Reid. That's a tribute to Spagnuolo. And so it's Andy Reid, Spagnuolo, Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes. Them four, that combination of those guys, it makes the Chiefs who they are. That experience, that it don't matter what the score is, we're going to win the game. 4th and 15, we're going to get the first down. But Bo Nix and Sean Payton, they're coming. Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, they're coming. The Bengals now, with what we have, I say we coming. And so if Aaron Rodgers can play to what we believed, I think the last great year Aaron Rodgers had was 2021, so that's a long time ago. The Steelers going to be a problem. We already know what Baltimore and Buffalo are going to do. And I didn't even bring up the Houston. It's not going to be easy in the AFC, but I'm not discounting the Kansas City Chiefs making the playoffs. No, I wouldn't take it that far at all.
I wasn't planning on asking you this, but I would be an idiot not to ask you this. What do you expect from your Bengals? I mean, Mike Brown has pushed a lot of chips into the middle of the table. $30 million for Trey Henderson, deals with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. Is it Super Bowl or bust for your Bengals? What do they need to do to have a successful season?
I don't know if it would be Super Bowl or bust because we're young still. Like our best players, we're still young. We still in our prime. But I'm proud of the way the Bengals went about this. Although it took a while, they got it done. They got it done. We didn't have to trade Trey Hendrickson, which I thought they would. We paid T and Jamar because that's what Joe wanted. And I believe Mike Brown, that was something Carson wanted, to keep me and Chad together. That didn't happen. And you see Carson requested a trade, and obviously they moved him to the Raiders. He didn't let history repeat itself with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow wanted Jamar and T. He made it happen. And so Trey, he's not there, gives it. Don't even extend him. Okay, we're going to give you $14 million extra. When did teams start doing that? We're not going to add a year on your contract. We're just going to add money to the fund. So that makes me happy that they're going all in. They're putting their chips in and say, I'm all in. The players now got to go out there and play and get it done. And so I believe we have a shot just as good as anybody. As long as Joe Burrow stays healthy, we going to be right there. Is it Super Bowl or bust? I don't know if it's Super Bowl or bust because we're young, but we damn sure better be there at the end.
I don't know if I've heard you, and I'm sure you're like everybody else. Everybody comments on Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation. There's an interesting twist developing. Mary Kay Cabot, the longtime reporter for the Cleveland Browns, she was on a radio interview or a podcast interview yesterday, kind of indicating that by late October, there may be a fourth man in the ring by the name of Deshaun Watson. And let's play this clip of Mary Kay, and then I got a follow-up question for you.
Did you see the latest Deshaun workout video?
Yes, I have. I actually retweeted, put it in a story that I wrote about Deshaun 2 days ago, kind of outlining what is going on with him and what his situation is and what the outlook is with him. So he's coming along. I do know that Jimmy Haslam, Andrew Berry, and Kevin Stefanski all kind of stood and watched one of those workouts of Deshaun Watson the other day. They liked what they saw from him. They were very encouraged about what's happening with him from a health standpoint. He looks good. You would never know that he had re-torn Achilles surgery in January right now. He has to be on PUP for 4 more games. But once you start to get into late October, they're going to have to make a decision on Deshaun Watson. Do they think about activating him, or does he remain on PUP for the rest of the season? So this is going to be something to watch as we approach the trade deadline.
So that to me sounds like the Browns haven't given up on Deshaun Watson, and I'm someone that thinks that they shouldn't. If I've paid a guy this much money and I know he has this much talent, I want final proof that that talent is gone, that his brain has been fried. And so I'm going to run him out there because Joe Flacco's 40 years old, Dylan Gabriel's a midget, and Shedeur Sanders, to me, has a long way to develop before he's ready. So I don't blame the Browns if they haven't given up on Deshaun Watson.
You know what? To me, when you forget what they've given Deshaun Watson already, it's what they're going to give him moving forward. Regardless if Deshaun Watson plays or not, Jason, he's getting paid a lot of money. And so if you're Kevin Stefanski, if you're Jimmy Haslam, specifically Jimmy Haslam, I want to make sure he is completely fried before I move on. And I don't blame him at all. I don't. They're going to get this man, I believe, over $100 million moving forward, whether he plays or he doesn't play. And so come October, if the Browns aren't doing well and if things go the way I believe they're going to start on one, the Browns aren't going to have a great year. I would like to see Deshaun Watson play. I wouldn't mind it at all. I wouldn't give up on him either. And there's also a part of me that I really want to see Deshaun Watson play well. I do. I do, because he was such a good player with the Houston Texans. And now we can look back and say, oh, that was a dumbass trade. Yes, it was. But going into, and when that trade happened, many people said, whoa, the Cleveland Browns, they'll be pretty good now with Deshaun Watson. And he has all them cases and he falls out of the public favor because of what is going on. But I would like to just see him be healthy, put your best foot forward. And if he can play, this just adds a wrinkle to the AFC North. It adds a wrinkle to the AFC in general and to football. And so to me, it would be a good storyline.
Final thought as it relates to Brown's quarterback situation, just because you're a dad, you had daughters that are great athletes in the softball field. What has been your take on Deion and his handling of Shedeur? As a father, as someone that has raised some great athletes, where have you been on Deion and Shedeur?
Honestly, Jason, because of who Prime is, and you know you're somebody when his name is Deion and many refer to him as Prime, and everybody knows who you're talking about. Because of who he is as a person and who he was as a player, he can do and say things that other athletes you just can't do and say, and it's not a big thing. He's coached Shedeur pretty much the entirety of his life as a football player. This is Shedeur's first year not having his father as a coach. And as a dad, we all want our kids to succeed. When you're a man, and Jason, you don't have children, and I have one son, 3 daughters, 1 son, and I truly believe fathers, there's only one person walking this earth that I want to be better than me. And I wholeheartedly hope that happens, and that's my son. Like, I want others to do well. Do we want people to be better and do better than us? No, we don't. We always say we do. No, you don't. But my son, man, I hope you're better than me in every facet of life. And that's what Prime wants for his kids. So I don't fault him for doing and saying certain things, because when you have children, you want everything for them. And you want them to be better than you. And if you got to go talk it, like Shedeur can play football. Is there some things he needs to work on? Yes. Can Deion talk his way into having Shedeur on the field? No. Shadeur's going to have to do it. And Deion hopes and prays that Shedeur is better than him. Will that happen? That's very hard. But I don't fault him, because being a father, I want the best for my kids in every situation, in school, in life, in relationships. And when you have kids, I think people that are parents understand where I'm coming from. It's nothing like having children. I'll do anything for my kids. I mean anything.
How do you balance, though, TJ? Because you're the perfect example of this. I was talking about this earlier this week or late last week. TJ Houshmandzadeh is the definition of getting it out the mud. And that is part of your journey and what made you a competitor and made you successful. And it feels like when you become successful, like TJ Houshmandzadeh and certainly Deion on his level, as a father, how do you know, hold on, man, there's got to be some mud here, or he's not going to be better than me. If I remove all the mud, I'm going to get a softer version of TJ Houshmandzadeh. How do you balance that?
That's tough, because when you're Deion, your kids aren't getting it out the mud. It's impossible, because you got it out the mud so they don't have to walk through what you've walked through. I've already gone through the fire, so you don't have to walk through it. Now, growing up, I do have to present you with certain things. You're not just going to get everything you ask for. You're going to have to earn and work for this. But it's a fine line. When you don't come from much, at least for me, I come from nothing. And anybody that knows me knows that I'm not just talking. They know where I come from. Literally nothing. Kerosene lamps around the house. Mama's on drugs. We have no lights, no water, nothing. And so I got to go take care of everybody. And I'm 13 years old. I couldn't imagine my son taking care of me and he was 13, but that's what I had to do. Deion, you do want your kids to have some type of adversity, but what type of adversity are they going through when you've gone through the adversity for them in your life so they don't have to? And so you can just try to challenge him as much as possible and hope the upbringing doesn't give him a sense of entitlement, a sense of, I'm going to get this because of my father. And we just hope, and just being, and I don't know Shedeur. I've met him once. Me and Prime are cool, but we aren't the best of friends. Like, if we see each other, we'll say what's up, but I don't call Prime and vice versa. Shedeur seems like a good kid. He really does. He seems like a good-hearted person, and that's all I care about. Treat people. I tell my son this every single day. You better treat people how you want to be treated, period. And only time you don't is when they give you a reason not to. And as long as you do that as a human being, that's all I care about. And I believe that that's what Shedeur is. He's a good human being. On the football field, that's to be determined.
TJ, thank you so much. Great job as always. Appreciate you. Would love to have you back. Thank you, TJ Houshmandzadeh. We're going to take a break here, and we'll come back with JB. We'll be gone 60, 90 seconds. If JB's not available initially, I'll handle things and warm us up for a conversation. But don't go anywhere. JB, Coach JB, last chance you, JB. Next. Everything in our system is about promoting racial conflict and racial division. They want us at each other's throats. I'm not making excuses for Raja Jackson. I'm not trying to make excuses for black people. I'm trying to beg us to think this through and to ask ourselves, who's benefiting from these issues? Who's driving these issues? And as I told you all yesterday about the social media matrix, the YouTube matrix, the Google matrix, the corporate television matrix, Twitter's matrix, everything is about how can we pit black versus white? I struggle with my health and weight loss most of my life, feeling sore, low energy, and having a hard time staying mentally sharp. But Relief Factor, it's changed all of that. I feel better, I move better, I think better. It's been a real transformation. And here's the thing, it's only $20 to try. If Relief Factor works for me, and I'm no easy case, it can work for anyone. Don't wait, call 1-800-4RELIEF or visit relieffactor.com.
Lord, it's a damn shame what the NFL has turned to for fans like me and fans like you. Wish I could just wake up in Patriots red, white, and blue, but I can't. This football nightmare's true. Living in a Madden world with Lombardi's soul. These cowards bound to feminists, Lord knows they all just want to wear pantyhose and control what you think. Want to vex you and mask you, and they don't think we know that they drank Bud Light too. Cause these players don't hit, might as well have limp wrists. Cause with these cowards bowing down to feminists, I've been selling my stuff, hustling eBay, PlayStation car parts for little or no pay.
All right, welcome back, JB. We don't want to waste any time. Don't want to waste your time. Don't want the audience to have to sit around and wait. Let's get right into it. JB, your reaction to the Micah Parsons trade?
Addition by subtraction. I think Dallas, this was the first time I called it on my show. I think it's the first time that Jerry said, I'm going to change the narrative here and do something that I didn't do with Emmitt Smith and et cetera in 89 when I purchased the team. I think this is, and then he took a shot at him by saying, we need to stop the run. If you caught that little eloquent take there. I don't think Micah is worth the money at all. I get the sacks numbers and all that. But at the end of the day, Jason, he don't play the run. And now you're going to put him in the cold weather place and expect him to do that. I think Dallas won the trade, not only immediately, but for the future. And I think it's a macro play by Jerry Jones for the simple fact that if Dak Prescott does not play well this year, I could see them dumping him too and starting over like they did in 89 with one of these good quarterbacks in this coming up draft. So I think this is a big play for Jerry Jones to end his career and go out the way he wants to go out, deservingly so. So you can say all you want about Jerry Jones, but at the end of the day, he does it his way. He's changed the NFL, regardless of how you think about him. And I think I'm actually commending him because I'm not a fan of Micah Parsons. And when he laid, and I talked to Pac-Man Jones yesterday, when he laid on that bench, that was it. Jerry Jones said, nah, this is still America's team. You're going to show me up like this? I thought it was over, and I said it on my show. I thought he was going to Green Bay from the jump.
Jay, I didn't know where you would land. I knew you would land somewhere interesting, and you have. And you know, I just had TJ Houshmandzadeh on, and we were talking, and I was saying that, look, hey, man, these outside edge rushers, I'm not sure if they produce the postseason victories that everyone thinks, oh, now they're a Super Bowl contender. Well, Khalil Mack went to Chicago. What happened? I love TJ Watt. Love him. But what have the Steelers won with him postseason? I love JJ.
Yeah.
I love JJ Watt. He never Super Bowl. And so there were people. I love the Bosa brothers. Nick's been, I think, to 2 Super Bowls. But when I think of people making a comparison between Micah Parsons and Reggie White is comical.
It is.
You didn't dare. Reggie White was like Deion Sanders. There was a half of the field you just tried to avoid. I don't want to deal with Reggie White. That's not Micah Parsons. He's a problem in the pass rushing situations, but he's not Aaron Donald, a disruptor from the middle of the defense. He's not Chris Jones, a disruptor from the middle of the defense. He's not Warren Sapp, a disruptor from the middle of the defense. He's not Ray Lewis, a disruptor from the middle of the defense. He's an edge rusher that we like the stats from sacks, but maybe it's not as valuable as we think.
Let me ask you this. Is Jerry Jones trading Lawrence Taylor? Hell no. That's my point I've been trying to make with these people. You're not trading anyone like that. He's not Lawrence Taylor. He's not close. He's not Reggie White. He's not even prime Von Miller. So, like, this is what I don't understand. Like, he won't play B gap. He won't spill the football play to the backers coming over the top. He literally refuses. I've watched him specifically in Green Bay and in Frisco when they had opportunities to win playoff games where, Jason, as a former lineman, when you've got an elite player on the other side of the football, there's 2 ways to attack it. You either run at him and read him, or you run away from him. We run at Micah Parsons, if you've noticed what the 49ers did to him and what Green Bay absolutely destroyed them with 2 years ago in the playoffs. They ran at him all game with a skiffer, with a sniffer, floating tight end across the formation, kicking him out, a fullback tight end, absolutely destroying him in that Green Bay game. And if you look at the brass tacks, they're in the league with the Super Bowl champs and a team that went to the NFC title game in Washington. You got 2 teams and a much better New York Giant team this year. Just mark my words when I say that. You got 3 teams now in that division, in that conference, before he got traded, that he has yet to make any significant plays against. If you go back the last 4 games against the Eagles, he's made 4 football plays, Jason. 4. I literally just broke this down. He's made 4 impactful football plays against the Eagles in the last 4 years. The strip sack versus Jalen Hurts that they recovered, a rundown behind the play and forced a fumble. He had 2 sacks one game. And where is he dominated in a big game? Not. You can't show me one. He's got 52.5 sacks in 4 years, which is right up there with the top. But like you point out, these are pass rushing stats that really don't carry any weight when it comes to winning meaningful football games. That is why I would not pay him even close to the money that he got paid.
JB, okay, the Cowboys have made the right decision in your mind, and I think I agree with you. Does that mean Green Bay made the absolute wrong decision? Because this is a win now decision. This is, hey, we're ready to win a Super Bowl. We got Jordan Love. Now we got Micah Parsons. Has Green Bay made the wrong decision?
No, because they have Gary on the other side, which I believe is even better than Micah. So now they have 2 guys. One guy can play the run and spill it to the backer. The other guy can actually play his position in Micah and just get up the football field and play the 9 technique and go disrupt the passer. And then, to me, though, it tells me that they're putting all their eggs in one basket with Jordan Love, which is the bigger shock to me. Because Aaron Rodgers left, Jason, and tell me a trade they made with Aaron Rodgers that was anything close to this. Tell me a trade that they made, or tell me a draft pick that they made that they've done in the last 2 years with wideout picks. Green Bay has the best young wideout core in all of football, contrary to belief. Aaron Rodgers never had this luxury. And they lost 4 NFC title games to the 49ers. And you can argue what they did in the draft and what they did in free agency and what they did with trades. They never made no Micah Parsons trade. They never made no trade from any young big-time wideouts. So they're smacking Aaron Rodgers on the way out the door still to this day. And so it's actually funny looking at it that way. I don't think it hurt Green Bay, but I still have Green Bay maybe 3rd best team, 4th best team in the NFC. And the NFC, to me, is not very good. Not anymore. The Niners are a team we don't know about. Seattle, Arizona are what they are. The NFC South is just laugh at that division in total. And the NFC East, Giants will be better, but where are the Cowboys? Cowboys actually could sneak all the way into being in a playoff team now. Like, seriously. So you get Green Bay. Detroit has 2 new coordinators. Minnesota has in essence, rookie quarterback. There's no dominant NFC team right now, and Philly has all the pressure on them to repeat. And I think the Rams are the Super Bowl favorite if Stafford's healthy. If he's not, the Rams aren't even a playoff team. That's how crazy this division or the NFC is this year. So I'm not sold on any of these guys in the NFC. Tampa, nah, NFC South's so bad. They'll get through the division and get in the playoffs, but they're not going to be – they're old on D. You got Mike Evans, their best receiver, who's old, who I love, the most underrated wideout in the history of football, in my opinion, but he's old. I like Godwin. But can their O-line sustain? Can they run the football with a Baker Mayfield? Baker Mayfield, even though he had all these stats last year, more stats than Patrick Mahomes and all this stuff you want to bring up, over his history, he's been still inconsistent from year to year. So I want to see if he can, replicate what he did last year. I don't know if he will. So I'm not sold on the NFC. And Green Bay could be the team, in my opinion, that gets out of the North. But I don't know if they're good enough with Jordan Love. Does he have the it factor, especially after being paid, to go out and win a meaningful football game? Beating a bad Cowboy team in the playoffs 2 years ago, which they ultimately paid him for, and then last year stunk it up. He stunk up the place. And now he's got a left hand injury that nobody was going to talk about. So it's going to be very interesting. Green Bay still lacks in a lot of holes on defense, in my opinion. And can Micah play the run and help out Gary on the other side that does play both? Because if Gary goes down, you're back to a Dallas team with 1 D lineman that's significant, and Micah Parsons rushing the passer and not playing the run. So Green Bay becomes Dallas North like this. So it's going to be very interesting when you break it all down in that way. But the NFC, I don't believe is a very – I think there can be a few teams that can shock you and win it because it's so mediocre.
Let's move on to college football, JB. Dylan Raiola and the Nebraska Cornhuskers in action last night in front of Patrick Mahomes at Arrowhead Stadium. They squeak out a victory over the Cincinnati Bearcats, knocking off Travis Kelce's team. Dylan Raiola, good stats. Were you impressed?
No, he's horrible. Here's the issue. It's an embarrassment. I've never sat down and watched the kid. I did not know it was a real skit. I didn't know that was his real thing. I thought it was a joke. I thought I was being trolled, I guess they would say on the internet now. I did not know he really wakes up in the morning and literally mimics this guy. Like, Patrick Mahomes need to file a trademark infringement. Like, it's embarrassing, dog. I can't believe what I saw. I did not know he really mimics everything he does, not only off the field, but on it. My question is, does he have a feminine brother and a drunk daddy? Here's the thing. I don't know, man. This is embarrassing to watch. And then he's not very good. So he's not very good. I know he was, 23 of 32 or whatever. Their offense is horrific, Jason. They better go back to running wishbone with Tommy Frazier because this team is bad. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll make a prediction on your show. This kid right here, all the antics, is going to get Matt Rule fired. I don't think Matt Rule makes it out of the season. They're bad. They're not a good football team. And Cincinnati, we're acting like today that they were like the old Oklahoma team or something. There's Cincinnati. They lost 6 games in a row going back to last year, Jason. It's not like they're a powerhouse.
Week 1 is tough, JB. Week 1 is tough. I think, didn't Idaho nearly beat Oregon last year, week 1? And so week 1 is tough. Let's cut them some gray. I'm going to also offer up a tiny defense of Raiola. Is this the impersonating Patrick Mahomes? Is that the worst thing that a young 19, 20-year-old kid could do? I see so many of these kids impersonating whatever gangster rapper they love. I see them running around with their pants hanging off their rear end like they're in prison. And so this kid has a fascination with Patrick Mahomes, who's a great player, married, seems committed to his wife, a good representation of an athlete. Maybe it's not the worst thing that he's impersonating Patrick Mahomes. Maybe, he could be doing worse things, I guess, is my tiny defense of Dylan.
I agree. But we're in this, all the feminists are coming after me right now because I had this female on my show. And
I saw it.
Well, I got all these people, these female coaches, and it's a joke. This is my problem. This is feminine quarterback play. Like, I get your point, and it's not a bad guy to follow, but we're followers now in this era. This generation of kid is followers. We're not leaders anymore. He wants to play quarterback in the NFL the last time that I checked. You got to be a leader to do that. Is this going to be it? I mimicked Patrick Mahomes and never made it? Like, is that what we're going to know him for? I want him to step up. How about wearing number 16 or 13 or 12 or make your own number? Let's start there. And let's start worrying about your play on the football field and not chase it. We all had role models. And anyone that's comparing Kobe Bryant to Raiola this morning, as they were on my show, is comical. Okay, first of all,
that's
he didn't
a good
wear
analogy. That's a good
Kobe and Raiola, Jason.
I'm not saying he's Kobe, but he impersonated Michael Jordan, and it worked out for Kobe.
Not off the court. He didn't wear the same haircut. He didn't have his same number. He didn't shop the same and eat the same. This kid's doing everything the same, from the number to the attire. At least, what'd you do? Kobe chew bubblegum? So did everybody else. Like, at least Kobe could play. So now you can argue, okay, this guy did his own thing. Raiola hasn't shown us he can play yet, and you're mimicking a 3-time Super Bowl champ at the end of the day. So, you got to be able to play, right? I don't know. I just think that this kid's going to be known to mimic him, and he's going to be a laughingstock at the end of the day. Break that loose now and go be your own man. That's all my thing.
I will say, JB, he's getting away with it in college for now, but this impersonation will not work in the National Football League.
Not
what are you going to do? Locker room. He'll be mocked and made fun of. It won't. And, who knows if he's got the talent to even, play in the NFL. But
I can't believe he was a pick Georgia commit. Like, this guy was supposed to go to Georgia. And he chose Nebraska because of his family lineage, and he's got an uncle there coaching now, and all this. Like it's kind of mind boggling to see the performance he's thrown out there. And you're a Georgia commit.
All right,
man.
Let me move on to the weekend's biggest game, Texas, Ohio State. Arch Manning is the most hyped college football player I think that we've ever seen in terms of hasn't done much on the field. His name and reputation have made him the player. I think a Heisman Trophy favorite. Some people tanking for Arch Manning. Where are you at on Arch Manning? Is he overhyped? What do you think we're going to see this weekend, Texas, Ohio State?
I'm gonna throw a little bit back at you. What you just threw at me with is following and mimicking Mahomes the worst thing. He's getting a little bit too much hate as well, in my opinion, to your point, for this reason. Here's a guy that could have easily left and chased the bag and done what everyone else done and entered the portal because they don't want to compete or sit. He's set 2 years now behind your boy Ewers, and he could have easily left. So I give him credit for that. And now he's with a good friend of mine, Steve Sarkisian, who's probably the best quarterback guy and offensive play caller in football. I'm leaning towards him having a decent year around a lot of talent. Now, can he do that this weekend against Ohio State? We'll see. But I'm not a believer as far as him being this big-time Peyton Manning. He did play against mediocre talent at best in high school. Got to see his high school film, and I questioned it. But I like who he's under, and I like if Sark's believing in him, then Sark knows what he's doing. I'm kind of leaning towards him having a decent year, but at the same time, I'm with you on the hype though. I don't think he's that great. But my question to you is, are you going to judge him off having a bad game? If so, and saying put a fork in him, or are you going to anoint him as the Heisman if he has a good one? I'm not going to do either.
Yeah, I'm not going to do either. This 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Let's hope he has a great game again, and let's hope Texas Ohio State is a great game. A great start to the college football season.
First 1 and 2 ever in AP history to play each other to start the season.
Yeah, and so I think it would be good for college football if this kid is good. So I'll be rooting for him. He's an amazing story. Just as amazing as Shedeur Sanders, to see an all-time great player or family continue to pump out these great athletes. I guess it's kind of where we've gone with sports now. It's the heirs to the throne, whether it be Bronny James or whoever, look, Klay Thompson or just Steph Curry. This
Michael Thompson. Yeah.
Sports is all the former professional athletes, kids are dominating sports. It kind of speaks to the training that's required and the level of support that's required to excel at this level. These kids, these second-generation kids, got a leg up on everybody else, and it's a good storyline for all of us. We'll be. Who do you think is going to win, JB? Ohio State, Texas?
Texas, just because of familiarity with Arch and Sark. That's a huge thing when you're the head coach and offensive play caller, as Sark is, and the quarterback coach. And then you got a quarterback who's not only, maybe he's played a few games, but he's also been in the system through osmosis that matters. Against a great, talented Ohio State team, probably the best player in college football in the Smith kid at wideout for Ohio State. But Texas, if you watched the game last year, shut that kid down because Texas had NFL corners. And last year, Ohio State had a quarterback at least that we knew about. This year, we got a new quarterback again with Ryan Day, who starts slow to start seasons just historically. Can that quarterback get this guy the ball against a big-time opponent like Texas? Both are going to be very, very equal up front, O&D line-wise, all NFL guys across the board. I give the nod to Sark and Arch this to start a season because of the familiarity and the continuity that they'll possess over a rookie, basically freshman quarterback that we know nothing about. And it's a 9 a.m. game on the West Coast. That's the one thing I don't like. That's why there was argument between Sark and Day about the time slot. So it is what it is. I wish that game was at 5 o'clock. I wish this was the primetime game of the night. I don't know why it's not, but we'll see. I think that does matter in the morning for Texas. So I think Texas could start slow, but I ultimately think Texas gets it done.
JB, what do you think of Deion's idea that college players should be paid for playoffs, that there should be some bonus system established for playoffs? What do you think of that?
I mean, he wants it to be the NFL. So I get what he's wanting to do. I think his overall macro take on this is something that no one's talked about. I think he's discussing this for postseason play, period, because I think he realizes, like I do, how bad it's become. So I hate the addition of constant addition in this playoff thing. I think it's the most watered down playoff era we've ever seen. I think football has become so mediocre. I think it needs to be 4 teams, the best 4. Ohio State wouldn't even have won the Natty last year if you really want to talk brass tacks, because they lost 2 games. They wouldn't even have made it. So if you go back to this whole thing, what bowl games are really meaningful anymore? Your holiday games that we all grew up watching that used to matter, whether it was a Holiday Damn Bowl or the Freedom Bowl or whatever, they mattered. People played in them. I think he's saying, let's pay everybody postseason so these guys continue to play in these meaningless now, quote unquote, bowl games. Because unless you do that, then you just need to scrap all these other bowl games. Because if you're going to continue to add on, because they want to do 16-team playoff now, and then they're going to move to 28, and it's going to be college basketball. Or you make an NIL bowl. You do an NIL playoff system like the NIT does in college hoops. Make it an NIL where all the guys that don't make the playoffs go play in the NIL bowls, and you pay them to play. Because unless you do that, these other bowl games are horrible and they're meaningless, and it's a waste of time. Nobody plays in them. Florida State is yet to recover from not making the playoffs when they went undefeated, because guess what? They played Georgia in a bowl game and half their team left and they got shellacked by 60, and Norvell has yet to recover from it and didn't win a damn ball game last year. And now they start off with Alabama 2 years later, and they're going to get shellacked again this weekend, and Norvell's going to get fired. Like, this is just what it is. It's a carryover effect here. We need to do something about the other games other than these playoffs, because unless you do that, you need to scrap it. So I pay them all if you're going to pay them all, or just scrap the bowl games and just pay everybody to make the playoffs. But what that's going to do is, Jason, it's going to create a big fish eat little fish scenario, which we already have. But now you're going to eliminate mid-major football. You're going to eliminate Division II.
Trust me, I know.
JUCO will implode, and high school will no longer be the blood life of football, which I think is already transitioning to. There's 3 quarterbacks returning on football programs this year, 3 that played last year. The rest of them are all transfer portal kids, new faces at programs. Castaneas, here's a kid, Sean, Jason, that quit at Penn State and got $800,000 to go play at Florida State. That's the era we're in. This guy quit on his team. Back when you played, he wouldn't even have been able to – he had to go JUCO. Now he's getting an $800,000 bag to be a quitter. We're in a bad space. I'm just telling you right now. So I agree with it, but I disagree with it as well. It's an oxymoron. I get it. But at the same time, we're paying guys, and we're rewarding or awarding them for being quitters, for being lack of competitive nature. What are we teaching these kids at the end of the day is what my point is, because I'm a teacher. I want to teach these kids that the real world is going to hit you in the mouth. We need to start prepping for it. We're not prepping these kids. And that's why you see the NFL kid either A, retiring second years in, or B, going to be YouTube and streamers. That's the era we're in. So I don't know. I think the passion's gone, Jason. The passion is no longer gone. These kids don't love football.
Let me tell you one thing I'm passionate about. The passion ain't gone here. Tonight, Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes take on Georgia Tech. And for the 3rd year in a row, my whole college football season is built around watching Deion Sanders and the Colorado Buffaloes. What should I make of Kaidon Salter beating out Julian Lewis, the 5-star recruit? He's starting out the season as the backup to a grad transfer from Liberty. What should I make of Kaidon Salter starting over Julian Lewis? Julian Lewis can't play, or Kaidon Salter is better than what I thought?
Salter's pretty good, and he's experienced. So he's got some feet in the fire. And strategically speaking, as a coach has been in it, I got to think about being in Deion's shoes. This is a guy who's missed the whole spring because of health issues. So I've been sick the whole spring. I haven't been around as the leader. I got to go with the experienced guy at the helm. I know this young kid, this freshman Lewis's mother, real well, and kind of who raised them. I know a stepmother type of lady as well. And he's a freak. He's a legitimate kid, but he's not ready. And Deion knows going in that the mental part of this thing is going to get this Colorado team over the hump, especially when he's missed half the damn season so far due to health. So that's the mindset I would think his approach is, going with the experienced guy at the position. And having said that, though, this is a very, very critical year 3, and that's why I'm entertained as well to see Deion manage this without his son, but first time ever having a quarterback other than his son, without Travis, and without all those NFL wide receivers they had. This is going to be a year 3 because year 3s make head coaches, Jason. This is when you take the job, you have a 3-year plan for success when you take a job. And this is the year that you're supposed to see strides, whether it's the culture, whether it's the character, whether it's the environment, whether it's the attraction that you've had. Obviously, we know the money. We know they paid him because of what he's done and get the stands filled up and the merch sales and all that stuff. We get all that. But at the end of the day, who have they beat? Nobody. So at the end of the day, he's yet to win a meaningful game at the end of the season. The last game of the season, he's yet to win one. Whether it was Jackson State, whether it was Colorado, he's yet to win the last game of the season. He has to take some strides year 3. And I'm actually eager to see it. I want to see how well this guy
is it going to happen? What happens tonight? How many victories they get this season?
Brent Key, former Georgia Tech player, who's now the head coach, a friend of mine, is a really good football coach. I think they have a quarterback. If Georgia Tech can win 8-9 games to start the season, he'll be in the Heisman consideration at quarterback. Their quarterback is really good. Georgia Tech's quarterback is really, really good. Underrated, not talked about because they're in a state that has Georgia, the Bulldogs, in it. I think their quarterback's better than Georgia's quarterback. I think their quarterback's better than a lot of guys in college football. And I think Georgia Tech's going to mud stomp Colorado. Colorado's in a very peculiar situation. They can either win 7, 8, 9 games or they can lose 7, 8, 9 games. I think Colorado's better up front than they were last year. They're not as good at skill, and they got a quarterback now that's going to have to learn the system and playing with Deion. I do believe this quarterback is good, though, that they have starting from Liberty. He's experienced, he's battle-tested, he's tough, but do they have the talent around him is my question. I think Georgia Tech wins the game going away, and then we'll see from there how Deion rallies the troops. It's going to be interesting to see his year 3 maturation as a head coach.
JB, thank you so much. Great job. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. I know you cooking this weekend.
Oh yeah,
I'll be out there. All right.
You ain't never coming.
Thank you, JB. Awesome job. Tell Big Smitty I said hello. We'll see you next time. That's it, and that's all for us today. That was magnificent, and I'm right on schedule. Make sure you go to fearlessmission.com right now. Get a subscription to everything we do here at Blaze. Get the Pay Fans Respect t-shirt. I'm going to say it again. TJ Moe, where's my Pay Fans Respect t-shirt? Why don't I have a bevy of them? I promised them out to some people. I need my own to be wearing. Anyway, you guys go. You can get the t-shirts. You can support me. You can support everything we're doing here at Blaze. Go to fearlessmission.com right now. And no harmony today. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Me and Luke will see you on Monday.
Sitting on a corner, never been alone. I'm breaking my back for freedom. Blessed, we are living, get back. We are receiving, all deceiving. We all wanna be free.